According to this thing, we're live. So, welcome from the Crossroads of America, the talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses our mind. Answer questions from the audience, either in the chat or by email at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. I have a YouTube, not YouTube, of course I have a YouTube page. I have a Patreon, and I have also a way to pay on PayPal. So there we go. That's it. That's all down in the info below. Plus my Instagram, my Twitter. I check them occasionally. So don't go, if you need me in a rush, don't go there expecting me to answer you. All right. So right now, let's see what we got. First in the room, he's pulling double duty, was Guns and Barbecue. Then Midnight Range. Then Jason Stewart, 2 live moves here. Everybody's starting to come in slowly. It's a hot afternoon. Oh, Jason Stewart's joined us in the chat. How you doing? All right. Let's go through my panel members at the moment. I've got Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me, Rick.
All right. And I got Willed and Well Armed.
Hey, Rick. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. And I got the New York Outcast.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me, and glad I could join you today.
I'm glad you're back. Hey, missed you for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, connection issues have been a problem. So I'm currently driving, but I'm almost home. So if I'm silent for a minute, that's why.
Okay. So we got Jason Stewart. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Rick. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. Not too bad. All right. That's on my panel so far. As you can tell, I mean, I came up with that title this morning. I was thinking about it yesterday. You know, what I call it? Let's go commie or something. Let me have a look. What I call myself? Oh yeah, let's go full commie. We will get it right this time. Yeah, I mean, I was listening, you know, all the news and everything else, you know, and I've listened to some of those politicians, especially the real progressive left. You know, they honestly believe that is the way to go. And all those other countries didn't get it right, but they would. And if I remember correctly, all those other countries, that's exactly what they said. And look how they turned out. You know, true communism in its pure form, even though it sounds good, can never work. In my opinion, that is. Hey, Raphael's joined us in the chat room. You know, and I'm just getting, I am totally getting fed up with it. You know, and fed up with it. And I believe Donald Trump is going to win this November, which will actually drive them guys absolutely insane when it happens. But God forbid, if for some unknown reason he doesn't win and they get in, America as we know it is gone. I don't care what they're telling you, you know?
Yeah.
What some of their ideas are, it is absolutely scary.
Well, whether Trump wins or not, if the Democrats take the House and the Senate, it's the same thing. Welcome to Moscow.
Yeah, well, if they take the House and the Senate and Trump still wins, I mean, he can veto a lot of the bullshit that comes up to his desk, hopefully, you know. But even like this last bill that the Democrats are trying to write, you know, with this for everybody to get another stimulus check, even though they passed one, the House passed one for $3 trillion. They want to do something now where, oh no, it wasn't that. It was defense. It was the defense bill, and it also has in there that they, you know, to change the names of those 10 bases that are named after Confederate heroes. They they put a little thing in there where it cannot be vetoed by the president. I don't know how you get away with that, but I mean, it's absolutely crazy what's happening, and hopefully the Senate won't take that one up. But you never know. You never know. But anyway, what's your opinion on it? Let's start with guns and barbecue. Are we going to go turn full commie in this country, or is things going to prevail?
I don't think it's as scary as people are making it out to be. Because again, we still have a lot of Democrats that are sitting in what are more or less purple states, and they know if they were to go that route next election, they could be out of a job. So look back to when Trump first got elected. All these gun owners are thinking, all right, we're going to get national reciprocity, we're going to Hearing Protection Act, and we had a Republican-controlled Congress and Senate, and we had a supposedly pro-gun president, and none of those things happened.
Yeah, and now I agree with you there. Now the national reciprocity and the hearing protection we almost had those, but then a mass shooting happened, and that killed them both.
But the thing is, if they really wanted to try it,
you also got to remember. See, what people forget, they start saying, well, the first 2 years we had the House and the Senate and the presidency. We should have passed all these things. The Senate, we had the majority, but you still need 60 votes to make it pass. Yep. And we only had 54. So you still needed 6 Democrats to change sides, and they're all towing the party line. So it wasn't going to happen.
Well, and that's the thing. Is my point here is while they might take control, if it's just going to be a party line towed still, what do we really have to worry about? Why are we so worried that we're going to turn into a communist state?
I'll answer that. They're already talking about getting rid of the filibuster, so there'd be all they need is 51 votes in the Senate. They're already talking about opening up the borders and making all the illegal aliens able to vote. They're talking about getting rid of the electoral college. The fundamental changes they're talking about making give them unlimited power forever. There'll never be another Republican voted in as president.
That's right.
With what they're talking about
every time.
They can't do any of those things without Republicans backing it also, unless they
you're wrong.
Have a
you're wrong. If they get
majority.
rid of if they get rid of the filibuster, then and they change it to 50-50, 51% wins the Senate. That's just a House rule. That's a Senate rule, and
but the point is change that they'd still have to have Republicans backing them also, unless they get 60 plus seats.
Yeah, if they get the supermajority of 60 plus seats.
That's what I'm saying.
If they have 51 seats, all they have to have is 51 seats.
Well, if they
could get rid of the filibuster.
But as it sits right now, right? If the Democrats win the Senate, say with 55, because I think the Republicans have 54 seats.
The Republicans could change it right now to make it 51 seats. That's always
you got to have to
do that.
Votes.
Nope, you don't have to. That's called a Senate rule. And so when Chuck Schumer came in last time, he wanted to change it and change it from 60 votes to 51 votes. And the Republicans said, look, if you do it and we ever get power, you got to rule the day that ever happened. And so they didn't do it before, but now they're talking about doing it again.
Now they use that 51 seat rule on voting in judges.
That's right.
All they need is 51 votes for a judge to be confirmed. I know that. And there was a name they called it, and I can't remember. Oh hell, I can't remember the name they were using for it when all went down.
Is that the cloister or something like that?
Yeah. Oh, Kingpin out there in the chat says, Wilden Well-Arm is right. Start arguing with him. That's some kingpin. Oh yeah, but
And another thing they're planning on doing is, even though we've got 5 conservatives, even if you counted Judge Roberts as a conservative, which on important things he votes with the Democrats, but all they will do is they'll make it 11 or 15 judges on the Senate, on the Supreme Court, and pack it with their own people. So we wouldn't even have the Supreme Court to look at, even though Trump has made it weighted in their favor.
oh yeah, I agree with you there, because that's one of the things they said they'd do. They increase the number of judges, so the president will pick 3 or 4 judges, and they all get confirmed at the same time, and boom, you've got a left-leaning. And unfortunately, the Senate, not the Senate, as we all know, the Supreme Court is meant to be the unbiased. That's why you have the Supreme Court to make the decisions. But that's even become political.
Yeah, well, look what's happening right now. It doesn't matter about Senate rules, House rules, Supreme Court, the Constitution. None of that matters. Every state, every politician, every governor is doing what their agenda wants them to do. Even our votes aren't going to mean anything from this year and this year on out. We have to stop them and get rid of all of them. They don't care about anything. They certainly don't care about us. All they want is their power and control, and no law on a piece of paper is going to stop them.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing with you there. It's and see, that's here in southern Indiana. You drive down the road and you go past these farms, and they have their flags waving Trump 2020. Down here, southern Indiana, so I don't have to worry about it. Right now, this is Trump country. But I can only go on what some of my friends tell me who still live in Rhode Island and in Connecticut, that it's so far left, it's scary to me. But it's normal to them, because that's, they've always been Democrat, and and Trump is bad. Everything he's done is bad, according to them. I don't think Trump will win. The only way when Trump wins, it will be with the Electoral College again. He won't win the popular vote, I don't think. Which he doesn't have to with the Electoral College. And that's another thing they're trying to get rid of. And if even if they don't do all the other stuff and just do away with the Electoral College, another Republican will never be elected, ever. Plus, like the California, there on the West Coast, New York and Connecticut and those states there, those will be the 2 people that decide what happens to this country. And they won't worry about us here in the middle, because we don't matter.
It's not even California. Because when you look at the states, if you take New York City out of New York, I'm pretty sure it becomes a red state. And if you take San Francisco or Los Angeles out of California, it becomes a red state. A lot of those states geographically are Republican leaning, but you've got pockets that are so dense that are left leaning, they overrule the rest of the state is the problem. Like here in Pennsylvania, to win the governorship, all you really need to do is win Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. The rest of the state doesn't matter.
Oh, that's what happened down in Virginia. Virginia is a real red state, except for those pockets where the DC, the overflow people come to live. There's so many of them. They overpowered the other people. It's so dense population of left-leaning people who work in the city that it's, I'm hoping though that they'll wake up.
That's actually why when I talk to people that say, "Hey, we need to get rid of the Electoral College. That's outdated." And I'm like, it's not outdated though, because those people that live in Pittsburgh or Philly, that's such a small area compared to the rest of the state. And what they're dealing with could be one thing, but what the rest of the state, the dairy farmers and farmers that are growing food and everything else, they're not dealing with those same things. And their voices are easily outnumbered because of that little group. Well, I shouldn't say little group, because it's a very large group, obviously, if it can sway entire states. And that's why the Electoral College is so important, and people don't realize that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And a good example is Texas. All the major cities are left. And if they get enough, I think most of them are, but the rest of Texas is purple right now.
Yep.
And it ain't going to take much for it to flip.
Yeah, if Texas, California, and New York all go Democrat, then we're stuck Democrat the rest of the world. It's a dumb.
Yeah. So we might as well go full commie and see if we can get it right this time.
It kind of intrigues me because you've got Texas governors, President Pass, saying, "Hey, all you Californians that are tired of paying those taxes and everything else, we're going to give you tax breaks for your business and everything else. Bring it here." And they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot because they're bringing over those liberal, left-leaning values as well.
Absolutely, and that's what's happened. That's what's happened down in Florida too. All the people from moving down there from New York buying them summer homes and shit. So there we go. But anyway,
Damn New Yorkers.
Damn New Yorkers. That's right. You're out there in the country. Now, around you, is it blue or red?
Technically, I'm not in the country for state. I'm not far from it, but we have over 100,000 people local, so it's not tiny, but it's nothing big, I guess you could say. Around me, honestly, it's hard to tell. People don't say much. It's pretty much pretty much an anti-gun. I'm having a brain fart here.
Yeah. But is there a lot of the silent majority there, as they call it? People who are afraid to say they were going to vote for Trump?
Yes. I think you do see vehicles with Trump stickers, this and that going on. You do hear reports about people getting tire slashed and all types of things like that local as well. So political stickers are an issue here. People are pretty vocal, but you do see them, some yard signs. The further out in the country you go, the more public people seem to get. So here, nobody speaks about anything pretty much. It's very rare if I wear a gun t-shirt or anything that I get a comment or anything like that. Usually I get like weird looks. But out, you drive out a little ways and it's basically the opposite. So I think the majority of rural people, just want to kind of be left alone and would prefer less regulation and whatnot. The city people, it seems like they're, attached to the government by the hip, or technically by the stomach. So, I don't know. There's generations of people that just live off welfare in the city. So,
yeah,
if they're going to give it out, then you're stupid not to take it. There's a lot of that mindset.
All right. Hey, Black Cat Outdoors has joined us. He's barbecuing yet again.
What's going on, Rick?
How's it going?
Oh, not bad. Just getting stuff fired up here.
So my topic was we're going full commie because we're getting it right this time.
Turn off my camera for a second. We're going full commie, huh?
I don't like that idea.
That's the way the country's going, and we're getting it right this time. That's the way it will go if they win. I'm afraid. Listening to them and reading some of their proposals, it's unreal that we talk to ourselves. I mean, we're speaking to the choir here. We know what's happening. It's what we've done with the schools and everything else. What we're teaching the kids today. The kids have no values because their parents have no values. And all you're doing is just repeating and repeating. Normally, it's the same principle.
And if you say something about it, you're racist.
Yeah, and it's the same principle, like a guy who abuses women. If he sees his dad doing it, 9 times out of 10, the son does it. Then he has a kid and he does it. It just follows. It just keeps going on, and you got to break the cycle. Unfortunately,
I see a lot of that today. Not necessarily physical abuse, but
a
lot of guys tend to talk to their ladies like they're garbage in front of their kids, which upsets me.
And then their kids,
if you don't like them, leave them.
And then their kids, their kids will start doing it, and it just goes. And that's why the country is like it is today. That's why we got those goons up in Portland, going wild and attacking the. Okay, now, I think it's the right thing to do to protect the federal building, because if the federal, they were there anyway. Every major city in the country has federal law enforcement people in it. And it's their job to protect federal property. So if they just stood out the way and let those people in, they would absolutely destroy that building. And to me, if you're shooting fireworks through a fence at the things, you're breaking the law. That is not peaceful protesting. I have no problem with protesting at all. Everybody's allowed to do it. But once you start, throwing fireworks in there, then I think just the other day they threw enough stuff over there to start a fire on the other side of the fence. Then, of course, the federal government fires tear gas, and then the protesters. Now they're peaceful protesters. They've come with leaf blowers to blow the smoke back at the federal government. If they were planning a peaceful protest, would you? Do you go on a peaceful protest with a leaf blower strapped to your back? So to me, they plan on causing havoc.
Well, do you go to a peaceful protest with 50 frozen water bottles?
Yeah. Oh, talking about protests. That one down there in Kentucky, Louisville, the shooting, the black militia. From what so far they're saying they're claiming it was a negligent discharge, but 3 people have been shot. So how does one that doesn't make sense. There's not a lot of detail to it, and that's not going to help the Second Amendment whatsoever.
I know of a case where 3 people took shrapnel in their leg, basically, due to a shotgun going off in shell right next to everybody standing around. So I guess technically you could state 3 people were shot with 1 round, but on the circumstance. So it could be done depending on what's actually going on.
There's not a lot of detail yet. That's just breaking news. I saw it before we went live.
There was a guy I went to high school with. He got shot by a 44 Magnum, and it went through his lung and killed the guy behind him.
Yeah. Oh, I'm switching straight off of politics to guns, because I was going to ask this one in the chat yesterday, the morning chat, and I forgot. Well, I did talk about it once before, and they, said I was kind of wrong and shut me down. Gun safety. Know your target and what's behind it. Okay, here's my scenario. You're in a shopping mall. An active shooter is right in front of you. You see him starting to shoot people. He's got people, who are sort of like stunned deers in the headlights behind him. Might be crouching down, but they're behind him. So you just go ahead, let him keep shooting because you might hit one of those behind him, or do you try to take him out? Or another example, in your house, there's a guy with a weapon and he's intent on doing you harm. Do you not shoot in case there's somebody in the next room? You go ahead and sacrifice yourself to save that person in the other room who might be there or might not? Who's going to answer these for me?
As I said, I'll jump in. I'd say I think that depends on your personal knowledge and capabilities. If you are aware of what rounds you have and how they're going to perform ideally, and risk management. Is this guy going to shoot 2-3 other people? What it could be? I think obviously you should try to pick blade to an angle that would be, the lowest factor of the risk management scale in a sense, and take that shot if need be. So in a sense, I would prefer to get shot and survive than die because nobody did anything. That's me. And again, it depends on what rounds, how close you are, how good of a shot you are, and you got to leave all the, ego crap out of it. Are you confident you're going to be able to hit center and mass or not? Hit something somewhat hard or not? But that's just my take. So I couldn't tell you one way or another 100%, but I know more than likely I would probably take the shot, but I couldn't say that with all scenarios.
When it comes to an active shooter, my first priority would just be making sure I got my family to safety. If I can do that without having to fire around, that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to, if it's a situation where I'm pretty much trapped or there's no other good option, then at that point, I'm saying my life is in immediate danger. I have no means of escape for myself or my family. And at that point, it's the only thing I'm worried about is taking out that guy so myself and my family aren't taken out. If there's something behind them that could possibly be struck by a bullet passing through, you're going to have to take that chance. It's either because at this point you're saying it's your life or theirs, and you're trying to save yourself and your family.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to the range and it's about 5 o'clock on Friday, there is a MARTA, which is a metro bus train police man. Anyway, it's called MARTA. He comes in every Friday and he takes 2 magazines of defensive ammo, whatever's in his magazine, and he'll set the target out 25 yards, and he'll get 34 headshots with his Glock 17 or Glock 19, whatever he's carrying. I hadn't really noticed, but he'll get every one of them in a headshot, and he parks in the handicapped spot next to me. We talk a good bit. I'm there maybe once every 2 months to catch him, but he does it religiously every single Friday. And honestly, if I have my red dot, I can hit 16 out of 17 every time. But there's that one flyer, right?
Yeah.
And then, but when I'm 15 yards, I'm 100%, even with iron sights.
Oh yeah, I am too. I mean, at 15 yards in, I'm going to hit what I'm shooting at. You know.
Yeah.
Another thing to this, I think people get way too hung up on over penetration and that bullet's going to exit out somebody's body and then strike somebody behind them. It's possible, but how often do you hear about that happening? And I'm not saying it doesn't. It just
that was my other
how
argument.
often does it actually happen in a self-defense situation? What's more likely to happen is you're in a high stress situation and you just miss entirely.
Yes, that's possible too.
I've shot many a deer with a 300 Savage, and I've never had a pass through. The bullet always fragments and fragments inside the deer and never passes out the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
Ken, I just want to touch on that. You mentioned the active shooter thing or whatnot, and getting your family safe. I believe, obviously, you're going to want to try to get anybody you can to safety, but when it comes down to it, I think, if you're in a position to make a difference, you should. That's kind of why we carry guns.
That's what I was.
So, maybe it's just for your own ass. Let's put it that way. But I would be much appreciative to whoever saved my family at a mall shooting. I would kind of be upset if I found out my friend was like, screw that, I'm getting my people and getting the hell out of here. Let's wait 20 minutes for the cops to show up while they just pick people off. Obviously, I'm not saying be a hero, be Rambo, know your limitations, but some things are worth dying for. I'm sorry. I mean, would you rather go a cancer in your bed or, take a chance to save maybe 5 other people?
Out in the chat, Kingpin jokingly said, in that scenario, just spray and pray. You can always get remarried and have more kids. Now, he said it jokingly now.
No, like I said, I mean, if it comes down to it, I would like to save as many people as I can. If that means I can just get a bunch of people out to safety, because at the same time, everybody should be responsible for their own safety. That's why we're carrying, because we're taking responsibility for ourselves, knowing that these things could happen.
No, a gas station getting robbed, I'm just staying out of the way. Unless somebody's going to shoot somebody or something like that. I just want to make that clear. But when it comes to somebody just picking people off in a plaza, I'm going to do my best to interfere with that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, if I'm in a situation where I know that something's going down, like I described in the mall, and I was in a position to take that shot, and I knew I could make that shot, I'm going to take it. Hopefully I don't have a flyer. I don't have any. I mean, as you said, over penetration doesn't even cross my mind. But I feel that. I would, if I had a flyer and there's people behind the target, it's a shame.
I think there might be another caveat to this, and that's when these active shooters are met with return fire, a lot of times they immediately run. So you don't even necessarily have to hit them.
Or shoot themselves.
And that's what I was about to say. That if they don't run, they immediately turn the gun on themselves, because they weren't going there for a gunfight. They were going there for easy targets. So I don't know. Then let's say you're worried about over penetration and hitting an innocent bystander or something. Do you just fire a round into the ceiling and hope that round was enough to scare them and say, oh, there's another gunshot now that wasn't mine, and they just off themselves or just take off?
District attorney might say you're trying to take out a plane.
Anyway, I tell you what, we haven't heard from Jason Stewart on this yet.
Well, I'll say, if you're in a situation like that and there's a bad guy with a gun and you're the only good guy with a gun, if you hesitate, you're dead. And if you're dead, everybody else's survival odds just went down. Whether it's the crowd or the rest of the family in your house, You don't have time to hesitate, worry about anything. You better be quicker on that trigger than the bad guy is. Can't think about it. You just got to do it. You can't think about your shots, your grips, your sights. You better just start letting them have it. Or, you'll just be a date on a piece of rock.
Well, I mean, you need to let them have it, but you also need to think about cover and concealment too. I mean, you don't want to just be a lone target sitting out there.
Well, yeah, you're in a situation, but like if there ain't no cover and there's just no time to wait, or you're sitting on the couch and somebody comes in the door, I mean,
yeah, I mean, I'm talking about if you're in a Walmart, there's an active shooter or something like that. There's plenty of rows, there's plenty of end caps. There's plenty of places to,
Yeah, well, sometimes yelling at someone and telling them to stop just ain't gonna work.
Yep.
True. Well, hey, Black Cat, what you got any opinions on that?
We gave two different scenarios, and both of them are kind of going to be. I mean, both of them are going to be dynamic scenarios. That's kind of a situational call on what you would want to do. I mean, if you're seeing an active shooter, obviously you're going to want to try and engage, but you got to also take into account, like you said, innocent bystanders. It'd probably be better to try and get the best angle you could, or like, I don't even know who said the last one about getting to cover. It might be better taking a shot from cover. I mean, it depends on the situation. If he's actively just popping people one at a time, then no, you probably want to get on the trigger pretty quick. But if you have a chance to move and get somewhere, that would probably be your better option. It's going to depend, again, a whole other scenario. Is your family with you, or are you alone? I mean, that's going to depend a lot on what I'm going to do too. Because if my family's with me, my first option is to get my family somewhere and then go back and engage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to pull out and start firing if I got my wife and kids standing right next to me, and draw the fire over there. I want to get them the hell out of the way first.
Yeah, I mean, what about the second one, like in the house, and you got, you got that. Most walls are plasterboard, ain't they?
Yeah. And I know where I can shoot and where I can't shoot. You know what I mean? In my house, I can turn the camera on. I live in a brick house, so like if I turn
one bonus point for you.
Yeah. Like I can't flip it around right now, but yeah. I mean, yeah. I know they're not going to exit my house, so I just have to worry about where my wife is and where my daughter is, So if I know where their bedroom is, then yeah, I just don't shoot towards that room.
That's really nice for strays entering your house too, from a shootout on the side of the road in front of your place or something like that. That's a plus.
Midnight Range.
Yeah, you ain't shooting through this wall, but
Midnight Range says if someone is shooting and you don't want to shoot them, then you better not shoot a warning shot. Drawing attention to you that you are armed is a horrible idea if you aren't up for the task. And then he goes, better listen to Black Cat Outdoors. You ain't got no sleeves. Sun's out, guns out.
I'm exercising my right to bear arms.
Yeah.
I could see a scenario for that, but along this line of thinking, you could see a scenario for anything. But if you had multiple areas of cover, you could tote a shot off. Yeah. If you don't have a clear angle to draw their attention, but you're going to have to obviously move from cover to cover, and hopefully people can vacate during that time, and maybe even yourself and the police take care of it. But again, that's all very circumstantial, what's going on in this scenario. So but
also there's a big difference in ball ammo and defensive ammo for that wall penetration. I mean, going through 2 layers of sheetrock and then the third and fourth to get to that extra room, I'm thinking about in my house. So if it went through my master bedroom wall, through the office bedroom, through the office, and then into my, oldest daughter's, that's passing through 4 layers of sheetrock and probably, maybe if I'm lucky, a stud in between. But you know what I mean. Defensive ammo doesn't go through as much as a full metal jacket or ball ammo.
could
You'd be
also be a
actually
downfall.
surprised.
When it comes to home security, it could also be a downfall, because when you think about rounding a corner, if you know somebody's there, it would be a lot easier just to shoot them through the corner, or adjacent wall or something like that. So I think I would show, but it's a mess with my change and peanuts and Q-tips and everything. But I keep hollow points and ball ammo on the side, and usually I carry both as well, because it's not that uncommon here for people to start shooting at a crowd of people in a park from a car or something. So penetration can be a friend as well.
Yeah. Kingpin says you guys are all missing the most important thing. Make sure you got your Corona mask on, and you'll be safe from everything.
You guys would actually be surprised about hollow points, because when they pass through different mediums like plywood, sheetrock, things like that, even metal, sometimes those hollow points end up getting clogged with debris and they turn into a ball round. I was actually watching what was it, 9mm tests, I think it was. I don't remember what exactly the caliber was, but Military Arms Channel was doing this like 5 or 6 years ago, I think, and he shot all sorts of different self-defense ammos, and it was amazing how many were just clogging with plywood or sheetrock, and then whatever metal he was using to simulate a car door, it's supposed to be the same thickness, and some of them blew through, I think, 32 inches of ballistic gel. And I know ballistic gel isn't medium for the human body. It's just something that we can get a consistent look at how ammunition's traveling. But it was kind of eye-opening at how those hollow points can get clogged up when they're not just passing through a human body, but pass through a different medium first.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There was something I was going to mention. I can't remember what the hell it was. Nope, it's gone.
I'd also like to say I was not advocating to fire some sort of warning shot. I was just kind of throwing out the scenario. Do you guys think it would work to scare that guy into, offing himself or running away? Because obviously, like Midnight Rangehead mentioned in the comments, you're going to draw attention to yourself, and you better be ready to take that shot. And also, every time that I hear the active shooter situation, it's often in a mall scenario. So when I'm thinking of this, the first thing I'm thinking of is I'm not in the immediate vicinity of the active shooter. I'm just hearing gunshots go off, and that's why I always say I'm getting my family out of there first. Now,
absolutely, and I'm not arguing there. I was just jumping to the head of scenario. You just unfortunately happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you're there. You know what I'm saying?
You're right there with the shooter. Then, at that point, I'm taking the shot, because the odds of getting myself out or my family or even anybody else from that immediate area, very slim. You're going to have to choose to take that shot or not.
Yeah. And I feel two things. I mean, I hope I never have to shoot anybody. But if I'm going to do it, I know I can hit the target. It's whether the thing is, am I going to do it? That is the thing. You know what I'm saying? Will I have the balls to pull the pistol out of my holster and shoot? That's what it comes down to, really.
Honestly,
I think I will. Otherwise, I wouldn't carry. Why am I carrying if I'm not going to pull the gun and use it when it's needed?
Honestly, I think when it comes down to it, a lot of people, it will be just instantaneous reaction. There will be no thought. They just know something bad's happening in their life or their loved ones are in danger, and they're going to eliminate that threat without thinking.
And that's what I'm saying. If I had to think about it, then all those self-doubts will start creeping in.
Yep.
Well, look at that last church shooting we had. The first guy wasted his time pointing and talking and reaching too slow for his gun out of his holster on his back. That took too long. He's not here anymore.
Yeah, you're right. And the other guy pulled and shot and didn't waste any time and got him on the move too.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to that whole interview, I mean, that shooter had the long jacket on. He went to the bathroom. One of the guy that actually did shoot him followed him to the bathroom. I mean, they were really eyeing him up, and the shooter had identified probably who all had guns in the place, and he went after. He said, "Well, I got to shoot this guy first because I know he's got a gun. This other guy with a gun is behind me." So when you're observant and you're really looking around, who's carrying and who's not. The guy with the untucked shirt. I mean, there's some telltale signs, even if you can't see, a butt or anything else sticking out. I mean, there's certain guys that you could just tell by their that sense of awareness. And you know who they are, and when you look at them and they look at you and you kind of nod, you know what I mean? I see that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, I kind of look at it. You're going to have to do the best you can. Okay, well, your life's on the line. You're going to have to do the best you can, and in that situation, it's not the time to half-ass something. It's not about being polite or being slow to pulling out. Like if you're in the middle of Walmart, somebody starts shooting. There's no thinking about a person behind them or whatever. If you're close and you're right there, and if you try to run, you're probably going to get it in the back. You got to do it now. You have to do it now. You're naturally going to try to save your own life and save your family's life, just naturally. But just giving it a half-assed little effort and worrying about things ain't going to cut it.
You're right. Were you going to say something, Black Cat?
I don't remember. Go ahead. I was, but it was off topic. I was just going to put in a snarky comment.
Okay.
That's kind of my MO. Insert snarky comment.
Those ribs look pretty good, by the way, on the grill. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's St. Louis
2 hours here. What's that?
Look better if I had an invitation.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what Guns and Barbecue said.
I asked if they were St. Louis cut.
Yes, they are actually. Yeah, they're St. Louis cut.
Yeah, New York Outcast
St. Louis cut.
Interview if he got an invitation.
Yeah, you got to make the drive, man. You can come down and eat ribs.
There you go.
If you leave your house right now, you'll get here right around when they're done.
Don't joke, man. Don't joke. Like I'm already booked at a place right now. I should have been at, but we canceled after reading the reviews. And it cost me money. Don't get me going. I was about to contact you to see where you were at the last time you went camping, so I can call. So I've been using this site finder place, and I'm not finding anything local. So I mean, anything within a few hours, even. So it's getting pretty crazy.
Well, have to text me. I can give you leads on some places in PA that I know to stay.
Cool. I'll do that.
Yeah. Oh, what you call it? You hear what happened to us here in Indiana? The governor done a executive order mandate as of Monday. We got to wear masks out in public. Not maybe, mandatory. Now that is really irking me.
Well, if you damn people brush your teeth, it wouldn't be a problem.
I actually, you heard Brian Kemp sued the mayor of Atlanta. Brian Kemp's the governor. I went to high school with him, and he's a pretty good guy. I've known him all my life.
Temperature off here. Get away from me.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some sheriffs around the state saying, well, they're not going to enforce it. Enforce it if you don't have a mask on. But I think it's wrong to even enforce it. I mean, I'm a free person.
And there's got to be dozens of health issues that would make it, risk management not ideal for everybody to wear one all the time. Lung disease, different cancers, lots of things where your oxygen count is lower than it should be as it is. So I would think there's got to be, pretty hard pressed for somebody to look at you and say you're full of crap if you have something. You can't really see lung disease. So
yeah. Now, see the thing.
I mean, there are a few people that have died of CO2 poisoning. I mean, there was one guy in his car that died of it, wearing a mask in his car. I don't know why he wore a mask in his car when he was by himself.
Yeah, I find that one strange too. But like here in India, I mean, if I decide not to wear one, I mean, my civil disobedience, I'm not going to wear one out in public. But then every store I go to says you got to wear one or you can't come in. You're screwed. So they got you either way. So I don't know. I just find it just, I don't know. It's just driving me crazy. It seems like the impunity they just take away. I mean, even here in Indiana, I mean, that's a Republican governor, and he's saying that we have to do it. I want to say, who in the fuck are you to tell me what I can do and what I can't do? But we voted him in to run the state. To run the state, not run my life. Or is there?
They say we did.
Or is there a fine line between that?
Oh,
running the state and running our lives.
Yeah, these governors are supposed to be working for us. We are not supposed to be living under their control.
Yes, I agree with you there.
They issued the masks at 6:00 Friday night here in Ohio. And I've heard rumors that they say they'll fine you $500 or this or that. They won't go do nothing. They won't go arrest somebody guilty of a crime right now because they won't put them in jail over corona. Now, if these masks were going to save everybody's life, it's just the most perfect thing to stop this corona. How come they just didn't give masks to all the prisoners?
I agree with you.
So I looked at from like on our state, they can say whatever they want. What are they going to fine you under? What law? In order to fine you for something, there has to be a law.
No, they've
Governors can't make law.
Throwing out fines around my area that I've heard of. So I haven't gotten one myself, but I spoke to somebody who knows somebody that has, supposedly. So after they were already warned, and then they got a fine. So
I would refuse.
I'm just curious under what law it is, because I don't know any state that's actually passed.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it would hold up in court, but most people just pay the tickets. They don't fight.
Yeah.
You figure if you hand 10 out and 3 of them pay the surcharge and whatever it gets dropped to or whatever crap, then they're doing good. And
if the police wrote me a ticket for not wearing a mask, as soon as I took it, I would just crumple it up and throw it away. That's what I think of it.
Now you get,
and then they get you for littering.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's $1,000 littering fine.
Yeah.
Dude, I said I was going to fight a ticket once, and an officer started reaching for his gun. Like, oh, you want to fight? They got crazy. So don't argue with the officers. Argue with deal with the judge.
Yeah. Now, okay, did you guys see that thing on TV the other night where I can't remember where it was, but a guy's house alarm went off. He called the police. He just got home from working nights. His alarm, I think, coming into the house, he set his alarm off or something. So he called the alarm company and said, "It's only me. Don't worry about it." And they said, "Okay," and reset it. Then the cops show up at his house. Now, he left his front door unlocked. The cop opened his door and started yelling, "Who's in here? Come on out with your hands up," and everything. He's in his underwear. He comes walking down the stairs with a gun in his hand because he wants to know who in the hell's in his house. The policeman says, "Drop the gun, drop the gun." So he did. Then they handcuffed him and took him out to a car. Didn't even ask him if he lived there. And then after about 10 minutes, they finally did. They said, "You got any identification?" He says, "I'm in my goddamn underwear. Of course I ain't got no, identification on me." But, I mean, I thought That's where don't get me wrong, we need the police, but they're out of control. You know?
Yeah. I got arrested for supposedly breaking into my own house. It came and took me out of work in handcuffs. And when I heard the charge, I couldn't, but I thought it was some type of joke. It wasn't funny sitting in county lockup till the court date. And once I made the court date, they let me out. Everything was cleared and completely dropped. But they did arrest me on a Thursday night for supposedly breaking into my own home.
No, how long you had to? When was the court date?
I had to wait till Tuesday, and I went in Thursday. So that was my hard knock prison stint there. So
you managed to keep Bubba away from you, huh?
No, I spent most of my time in the mandatory lockdown when you first go in. So
okay.
I only got to mingle for a couple days before I was on my way out of there, thankfully. So
yeah.
But yeah, had to bend over, touch my toes, all that stuff, and all that. That lovely stuff. Yeah.
Many years
for a place where my name was on the mailbox and the lease was in my name, and I had the keys. And I didn't even break in, so I don't know where this even came from. But
I spent 24 hours at Henry County Jail.
Henry County Jail. That's not a good jail to be in nowadays.
It wasn't a good jail back then either. I mean, they took me in there. It was part of my drinking days, and cut a long story short, I stole money from the Boy Scouts. My son done one of them popcorn sales with anything, and I gave a check to the Boy Scouts and it bounced. And that's what they kept asking me to pay it, and I kept saying yeah, and I never did. About a year and a half later, the Boy Scouts finally arrested me. Sent the sheriff down to arrest me. I was drinking back in those days. Anyway, they put me in Henry County Jail. I mean, they stripped me down.
Crazy.
They put you through some shower to get the lice off of you. I said, I ain't got no lice. They said, well, we're just making sure, and if you have white socks on or white underwear, they had to come off because you could only wear white. So I'm barefoot.
There you go. Just,
put me in an orange jumpsuit, give me some flip-flops, walk down this line down the middle of the corridor. I had to stop, go into this room, pick up my bedroll and toothpaste and toothbrush, walk down, and they put me inside there. Cell block H. Door opened up. There was 18 people to a cell block. And the longer you're there, the closer you are to the TV. My bunk was the one right at the very back. I tell you, I stayed awake all night. It was scary.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but check the color starting on these.
Yeah. But anyway, that was my jail story from back. That was 20 odd years ago. Also, when I've every time I filled out a CCW, and it says you're ever being arrested, I always put that down, and it's never hurt me.
Hey, I want to give the group some good news. I got 2 cans stamps on Friday or Thursday. My date was January. It was all accepted by Silencer Co. The kiosk on the 31st of January. I bought 2. They had a Beto special in December. And so basically, you got 2 silencers for the price of 1. And so it was a Rebel silencer. So I paid $350 for 2 of them. Anyway, I've been waiting from December 31st till last Thursday. So about 6 months and 23 days. Was that on Friday or Thursday?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you've got 2 silencers for the price of 1. So what's that? $400 you had to spend on each one?
Yeah, well, then there's the fees for Silencer Co. to do your fingerprints, or so it's about $85 in fees, whether you do 1 or 2. So I kind of got the buy one get one free on them.
What I was thinking about, do these companies who sell these silencers, do they have room to keep storing all these silencers for a year until you get your ticket?
Yeah, so I had it delivered to my range, and I'm a member of the club. And so while it's at the range, I can shoot it as many times as I wanted to. I just have to check it out. I got a little card, and when I get done, I give them back the cans, and they give me back the card. So it's kind of like it's in a lockbox.
If you buy an NFA item that's not silencer code that's keeping it, it's your whatever SOT dealer you're going through. That's who keeps it.
Yeah. Okay. So you can still use it.
If it goes to a range, yeah.
It only has to. You have to buy it. You have to use the FFL that has a range, or you can't use it.
Okay. Yeah. Now,
we have one like that in my town too, where the FFL is a Class 3 dealer. So if you can actually buy a machine gun and have it shoot on his range till your paperwork went through.
Okay. Yeah, because my gun store has a big giant silencer section, and they have a gun range out the back. So, so I could do that. You know?
Yeah. So I've been helping a friend buy one today, and if Silencer Co. has a Yankee Hill machine for that's a 45 caliber, and that one's 514, which is a pretty good price for a 45.
Yeah, that's not bad for a 45 can.
Yeah, and so it's adjustable. You can make it bigger and smaller, and then it's also 45. So you could shoot anything. You could shoot a 223, a 300 blackout, 9mm. With all the different attachments, and you got to get the boosters and whatnot to shoot them. So I've got a fair amount of boosters, so I could put it on, the Glock original barrel or the Lone Wolf barrel, or
Don't all these barrels have to be threaded?
Yeah, they have to be threaded, but the European barrels are, that weird denominator by left-handed thread, and it's all the Glock barrel is a lot different than the American-made Glock barrel.
Okay.
Yeah, like the Wolf barrels. What are the Wolf barrels? 1/2 by 28.
1/2 by 28 right-handed thread, where the foreign ones are, 11.
Left.
11/16, by 28 left-handed. It's just hard to even find a thread cover for them.
Yeah.
It's called commie threads.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, real quick, I'm doing my quiz from last week. It must have been too hard for everybody because I only got 2 entries. And the question was, I wanted to know the rifle that was on the Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal. And it was an M1895 Lee Navy. Is what it was, and it was in 6mm, I believe, but it was. Hang on, I lost my page here. It was designed by Major General Charles Haywood. He was the 9th commander of the Marine Corps back then. So there you go. Just wanted to say that, and so that's what's on it. So I had the 2 right answers was 2 people. Ohio 45 ACP got it right, and John Brown Productions got it right, and that's it. So I'm clicking my thing here, and John Brown Productions is the winner. That's what this figure picked. You had a 50-50 chance.
Oh.
Okay.
I wish you guys could smell this standing back here, because I got hickory smoke hitting me in the face with ribs underneath.
I wish they come up with something like that on the computer. You could have a smell for it.
Yeah.
Nobody likes a tease.
Yeah. Okay. The quiz for this week. I got a bunch of stuff, and this week I got a few stickers here, but the main thing is, where is it? Or was that last week's? No, it's this week's. Got a willed and well-armed patch donated by Willed and Well Armed. So you're getting one of his patches plus a few stickers in this week's prize.
All right. Well, don't make it too hard because I'm going to try to enter.
All right. This one's not that hard. I want to know who was the first soldier or first military person in the American military, the first person to win Medal of Honor, very first person, and did he win more than one? That is the question. Email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. There you go. Who was the very first military person in the United States to win a Medal of Honor? There you go. That's the question. That's not that hard. You know?
Can I jump back to something real quick, Rick?
You certainly can.
Hopefully it's not a bad thing, but I'm trying to help you out because
4:00, you know?
Yeah, I think, you said you robbed the Boy Scouts. Like, saying that is bad. That's bad. Like, right off the jump, puts a bad taste in somebody's mouth. So,
absolutely.
I think what happened was you gave a donation by check and then got drunk and, those are your drinking days and couldn't cash a check. So, granted, that is an issue because, that's a $20 fine and then our fee from the bank. And then, it might be a $60 fine or something you got. So that's a little different. You gave something and didn't truly give it versus breaking in and stealing the cookies out of the cookie jar. There's a difference. So just for your own safety, I wouldn't go around saying you robbed the Boy Scouts because that might not work good. Yeah, you might get jumped in an alley for a patch.
When I'm at
a merit badge.
12-step, when I'm at a 12-step meeting and they ask me to share, that's what I tell them. I say,
you're honest. I get it, but I think it's how you look at it in a sense. You didn't literally take something from them.
They put me in front of Judge Judy. that's what you look like, And I was told to plead. Well, it wasn't no contest. It was, but that's what it meant. Whatever. But I got fined. Get this. I got fined $700.
Wow.
12 months probation. Georgia is hard.
Wow.
Bad checks. I'm telling you.
Hey, but in my Girl Scout, my oldest daughter, she was in Girl Scouts, the second one too. But we had one girl, and her mother bounced a check for $800, and
holy shit.
The Girl Scouts, they don't get. We had to pay them the full price regardless. I mean, and they only make 15 or 25 cents per box. You get screwed by the Girl Scouts, where if a guy in the Boy Scouts, a 25 bag of popcorn or a big metal bucket of popcorn, 18 of those dollars is profit. So, if you get stuck with $800, that's only like, $150 real dollars.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't proud of the fact, but that was part. I mean, that's how low I went. Well, I mean, I tell you how low I don't know if I told you guys this or said it live, but I say it at 12-step meetings.
Don't be afraid to keep some things private.
Well, see, I don't.
Yeah, I'm not telling you to be a shyster or nothing. You're an honest guy, but being too honest, this is YouTube.
When it comes to my sobriety, I got to be true and be honest. I'm not saying I keep stuff to myself now, but part of this is out there because I've said it for years. But I got so low that I pawned my wife's wedding ring. I mean, that's low.
Hey, you paid for it.
That's low. I did get it, mind you, hey, real quick, I did get it back eventually. But that's how low I went, and that's all because I was drinking. You know, I mean, theoretically, I pawned the ring to get some money to pay a bill. But I wouldn't have had to owe the money on the bill if I hadn't spent the money originally drinking. You know what I'm saying? So
This chat's getting real uncomfortable.
you know, anyway, that's just that was 20, coming up 23, 24 years ago now. You know?
It's good of you to be honest and be public, and
yeah, hey,
a lot of admitting mistakes is a lot of people's issues.
so
everywhere.
I mean, where I'm going with this, I've done this, and I honest about it. Has it hurt me? Anything? I don't think so.
Nah, Rick, you're just building your street cred. That's all.
That's right.
You got a long way to go. If that's the worst you got to declare. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was. I mean, that's worse for me. You know what I'm saying? And it. I said that's what turned me around, was getting that low. You know. So there we go. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm far from perfect now. But I don't. And you're right, New York. I don't put out stuff now like I did back then when I was getting sober. You know.
I just want to say you should, coming from a friend, that I think you shouldn't just go around saying you robbed the Boy Scouts. I should say you gave a donation you couldn't back up. That's different. You're not going to get jumped in an alley with people with popcorn and cookies at that point. But
you know, I'm not a perfect guy. I put it this way, I'm a lot better than I was, but I'm far from perfect. That's all I'm going to say. So anyway, that's where we're at now. Oh, there was something else I was going to ask. What was it? Oh yeah, did you see that thing that the Republican, somebody in the Republican congressman put forward, that the Democrat Party is either got to leave Congress or change their name because the Democrats could trigger somebody from the days from the slavery and Confederacy. I thought it was quite good myself. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard how far it's got yet. But why aren't the snowflakes jumping on that? The Democrat Party should change their name or leave Congress. I mean, to me, that's just the same as removing a statue.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
Yeah.
They better own up to their past.
They haven't been pointed in that direction and probably won't be.
No.
Well, a lot of people like to say the Democrat Party was the party of racism back in the day. I think they still are in some ways.
Now, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Well, there is that new movie out called Uncle Tom, and it explains exactly what's going on in the past and current today.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe I'm not. I mean, I guess I must have lived a sheltered life because I don't understand this. What they say, systemic racism. That makes no sense to me. But I said I must be sheltered.
I think it goes to excuses. People just love to deflect responsibility on anything. I can't get this job. It's because I'm black, or it's because I'm overweight, or it's because of this, or it's because of that. I think everything, nobody takes responsibility. So, I mean, I even had issues with my neighbor. I get called an Uncle Tom or a Karen or something,
whatever, Uncle Tom.
By a black family, you know what I mean? Which blows my mind. The guy sits here and talks so much crap about white people, but yet who is he trying to sleep with all the time? I don't know. The whole thing it's retarded to me. I think it's all just a deflection tactic that puts, all your faults are the world's doing because of this. Whether it's I'm a woman, I've been abused, I'm black, I'm Asian, whatever it is. I think that's what it's come down to be honest.
But it is. Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, and it's funny because it's never like I deal with a lot of people, different races, different, all kinds of differences. It's usually like white women that are pissed off. They're like the most racist. You know what I mean? It's like most people get along fairly well when you actually are working. Like working people generally get along pretty well, from my experience. It's at the higher levels of stuff that people get screwed up, and you have all these problems at the political level and stuff like that. Like most people get along. Like I've never had like an incident where somebody hated me, I think because I'm white, or I hated somebody because they were black or Hispanic or anything else.
No, you're absolutely right. I've the same with me working for the federal government and stuff. I mean, what I was telling Will and Wood Arn before we went live, when I lived in Atlanta and I worked at Fort Gillum, I was the meat department manager in the humongous commissary they had. Those warehouses. One of those, the whole thing was a damn commissary. It was humongous. I mean, it took you an hour to walk from one end to the other. It was so big. But where I was going is there had a crew of 25. There was 18 meat cutters, and the other ones were wrappers, right? In my meat department. That's how big it was. And they were all black, every one of them. And it didn't bother me in the slightest.
That sounds kind of racist right there. It didn't bother me.
You say all rappers are black?
Yeah.
All the good ones are.
So I was just trying to say, I mean, and I don't think they weren't about me or anything. Actually, I tell you, the first time I was there, they were going out to lunch, and they said, "Do you want us to pick you up anything?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I gave them some money. I mean, they brought, actually, I can't remember what it was. They brought me back, but they said, "Don't ask where we got it from." But I think it was the best thing I ever ate. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was some country dish, and man, it was good. What they were saying was the restaurant they got it from was sort of like a real dive. So anyway, I mean, back to the other thing too is this country. Yes, we back going back 100 years when there were slaves and racism and all that. I'm not saying we are a lot better today than we were. We're getting better, I think, with every generation on this racism thing. I mean, if this country was so bad, why have since the last 50 years, why have 2 million black South Africans emigrated here? If we're such a racist country.
Think about this. Back in the 1950s, there were places in the South where they had restaurants that black people couldn't eat in. Can you imagine any place, anywhere in this country right now, putting a restaurant, had a restaurant or a store or anything that said no black people?
No, I couldn't.
Do you think that would fly anywhere? I mean, that's for anybody on the panel. I don't think that would fly anywhere in the entire country. That place would be, those people would be run out of the friggin' town.
That would fly even in the most southern, backwards, little town. That wouldn't fly. You know?
I don't think it would at all. I mean, I just don't see that, and if you go back 70 years, there were places like that, I think even the strides that have been made is, I don't know. I think society's progressed past that a little bit. I mean, you're always going to have somebody that's racist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember as a kid, back in the, I'm trying to think where we were. I think we were in Georgia. We were somewhere down south. I remember. I can't remember because I said my father was in the military. We moved around a lot. But I remember seeing, I think it was like a couple of water fountains one said whites and one said blacks. It'd been painted out, but the actual original signs were still there. I remember that as a kid. But yeah, today that wouldn't be tolerated.
No.
At all.
No, I don't think that kind of racism would be tolerated at all anymore. Maybe, like I said, you're going to have individual people that are racist. You're always going to have that on all sides. Right?
Oh, yeah. And a lot of that's got to do with the way they're brought up today.
Exactly.
But
I don't know. I just don't think that, there's a level of social acceptance to stuff that I don't think racism is socially acceptable. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm a middle-aged white guy, so I really, my opinion on it's probably not the best, but I don't have to deal with it. I have my white privilege to fall back on.
Black cat's white, son of a gun.
I know. Any place I've ever been with Rob D, we're both named Rob, so I always say that we're no relation, just to make sure people don't confuse that.
Yeah, you want everybody to know.
Hey, we're both racist. We're both racist bastards, according to the YouTube comment section. So we.
Yep.
I blocked the. I didn't block the person. I blocked the. What you call it? Somebody wrote something in the chat, and I blocked what they wrote. And I didn't mean to. Those technical. Sorry about that. I can't find out how to unblock it. So
I will say I've drunkenly banned people from chats before. So
yeah,
I forget who it was. I had somebody real pissed off with me because I got drunk and passed out holding my phone and banned somebody when I was a mod on a chat.
Yeah. So anyway, has anybody got anything else they want to talk about?
Hey, Rick, I got one thing to say real quick. Before we started the call, we were talking about Fort Mac and Fort Gillem. Fort Mac was bought by Tyler Perry.
Okay.
Yeah, for $700 million.
I mean, that's real estate where that base was.
Now, the profit for the last 5 years is last reported profit was $900 million per year.
I can believe that. I mean, that was also that was the amount of generals that were on that base were unreal. That was where the Army headquarters was. If they weren't at the Pentagon, they were there. You know what I'm saying? Colonels were dime a dozen on that base. And there was a lot of generals on that base, tons of them. So, yeah, because I said I was the meat manager at Fort Gillem, but the commissary at Fort McPherson was mine too. So I had to work between both of them.
So originally he bought 335 acres, and I think then last year he bought another 175 acres. So he's got close to over 500 acres of metro Atlanta area. That's pretty unheard of.
Yeah. And I said Fort Gillem used to be the southern headquarters for the Army PXs, AFIS as they called it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they used to have warehouses full of merchandise and thousands of trailers. That's where everything was shipped from to all the bases in the southern United States. So, So anyway, that was back in the day. I left there and went to Maine from Georgia in January. Talking about a social shock. Talking about a shock, I can tell you. So.
All right. Well, before you shut the chat down, let me get a question in. Since I have a butcher and guns and barbecue on here, what's your opinion on sauce for ribs and chicken on the grill or after you take it off?
Go
ahead, Rick.
I put mine on. I put my sauce on a few minutes before I take it off the grill.
Okay.
Depends on who I'm doing it for, or if it's just for myself. If I want to have barbecued ribs or barbecued chicken, I like to let it sit and get good tack on it. But if it's for other people that I'm cooking for, I'll just put it in a bottle and they can add it as they please.
There you go. All right, see, now that's me. When I'm cooking for myself, I'm definitely a sauce one because I like to go with the smoke up the. I like to get it on and let it kind of caramelize in the smoke a little bit, you know?
Yep. Get that good tack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about that now, you're making me hungry. You know?
No, I've just had that argument with a bunch of people online before. Barbecuing on my, you're actually doing actual barbecue.
He says he doesn't own the grill. So we, and it caramelizes a little bit just before you.
Thank you.
What do you think about doing both?
I say we're 3 for 3 now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've had a bunch of people where they're like, big barbecue guys. Oh, you can't put sauce on it on the grill. The sauce is for after. I'm like, no, then you don't get the flavor out of the sauce if you don't let it caramelize on the meat.
Exactly.
I mean, I dry rub all my meat, but still.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's times where I don't want any sauce. I just want that plain Jane rib or that plain Jane piece of chicken.
Oh, but
if I want sauce on it, then I want it to be a good tacky sauce where I've got to try and lick my fingers and get a moist towelette and then go wash my hands with dish soap still to try and get it back.
Yeah, like
steaks and pork.
Steaks and pork chops, I'm totally no sauce. There's never going to be sauce on that. But like ribs, I want sauce on ribs, and I want it to be a good sauce. I want that smoke flavor to get into the sauce.
Yep.
I didn't put hickory in here for no reason,
Oh, heck. When you said you were smoking with hickory, I was like, all right. Black Cat likes to smoke.
Oh, yeah, I do. Usually I either use apple or hickory. Every once in a while I'll get some mesquite, but that's pretty rare because we're in the Northeast. Do you know that?
Yep.
In that right says he dry rubs his meat. You heard it.
I do. I'm not denying that. I would never deny that. I'll go at it dry.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Black Cat started a few friction fires in his day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys got any other topics you want to talk about? If not, I'm going to go fire up the grill, feed the cats.
Yeah, see?
All day a day.
So you're going to have Chinese food?
Yeah.
I said feed the cats, not eat the cats. Sorry.
Yeah, you could throw a cat on if you throw a cat on the smoker, then you'd have barbecue Chinese.
Yeah.
That's like that Mongolian barbecue stuff.
Oh, yeah. All right. You got any shout outs or plugs, Guns and Barbecue?
First, Rick, I want to know what is the best cutoff of a cat?
Tenderloin.
No.
Tenderloin.
No, I got nothing. Just thanks for having me. Always a great time. Appreciate it.
No problem. What about you, Will and Well Armed?
Oh, nothing here, Rick. Thank you very much for having me, and y'all have a good week.
Well, I appreciate you being here.
Shit, my rack fell.
New York Outcast. What about you? Any shout outs or plugs?
No, just thanks for joining us. If you're not a subscriber to the people on the panel, check them out, and everybody have a good day.
Oh, yeah. Jason Stewart.
Thanks for having me on, Rick. Tell everybody, don't forget to check out the Crazy Scotsman's channel tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a good one, it looks like. And Budget will be on tomorrow, too. So just keep those guys in mind if you ain't doing nothing. And,
I know who's on tonight.
Make sure you support your local scout club.
That's right. Support your local scouts. That's what I say. Learn from my mistakes. Black Cat Outdoors. Any plugs or shout out?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Yeah. Just thanks for having me on, Rick. Everybody everybody knows what I do.
All right.
Check out everybody on the panel here because there's a lot of smaller channels out there that aren't getting any love. You got Guns and Barbecue and New York Outcast. Damn it. I'm having barbecue issues here, so.
Oh yeah. Oh, Midnight Range. I think he's trying for me to plug his show tomorrow.
Oh.
You know, I thought that Scrib, he's not here. But I thought Scriblo was your PR man, but he's not here today. So, all right. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for stopping by on this hot Saturday afternoon. As I was saying earlier, I think it's the temperature was what was it, 90 degrees or something like that, and it's 93, and it's real feel 104 outside. For Southern Indiana, to me, that's pretty hot.
Yeah.
If I can add one more thing, Rick.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, everybody go check out The Closer on Midnight Range TM's channel.
All right. Absolutely, with sound effects. There you go. So I want to say thank you all for being here, and I'll be back on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters. So I want to say good afternoon, everybody. See you later.
Thank you.
See ya.